Who better to talk to than my next guest? He is the founder and the CEO of Clutch Sports, the man who represents LeBron James, who represents Draymond Green, who represents Anthony Davis and everything else going on, for crying out loud. The one and only Rich Paul, his first time on the Stephen A. Smith Show. What's up, big time? How are you, man? How's everything?
Everything is great, Stephen A.
Well, the first order of business is talk about how privileged you are to be on this damn show, since you're always trying to manipulate my family against me. Finally, I got you to come on the show. How does that feel, Rich Paul, to be on the show finally?
You know, it feels great, although it's premature because I don't know how it's actually. I don't know what you want to say, so I'll say it's starting off great. But let's see how it ends.
Well, welcome to my world. Welcome to my world when you're texting me before first take all the time. But let's get right to it, man. You've seen the news. The Golden State Warriors were interested in acquiring LeBron James. Not to say nobody is interested. Everybody is interested in acquiring LeBron James. But they actually made a push for it. What can you tell us? What level of truth there is? What level of falsehood there is to the reports that have circulated via Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN and obviously piggybacked off of by Brian Windhorst and others? Your thoughts?
Well, I mean, look, obviously, it's true. Woj and Ramona is not going to report something that's false. But I think it's a testament to LeBron and obviously, also the organization of the Warriors, who continue to be aggressive and wanting to compete. And so, look, things like this takes place. And obviously, when you're talking about the names at that level, it's going to be news. But it wasn't much news in terms of the timing and spent on it.
And you say that because why? There was no way in hell that LeBron James would even consider making such a move? Is that why you say that?
No, he's committed to the Lakers. I mean, Jeannie has been an incredible partner for him and us. And I think it's important for that to be understood and to be respected. Obviously, there's ups and downs and emotions throughout the course of a season, but ultimately, LeBron's committed to the Lakers.
Speak to how happy LeBron James is, or lack thereof, when it comes to being a Los Angeles Laker at this moment in time. How happy is he to be a Los Angeles Laker at this moment?
I mean, LeBron's been great. He's been more than happy in terms of just his experience as a Los Angeles Laker. I think that's the one thing that Jeannie always wanted to make sure that she reiterated is the importance of his happiness. And look, I think people tend to place a responsibility of winning every year. Mm-hmm. That's not realistic for nobody, not for LeBron. It's not realistic for any of the players today or any of the players in the past. I mean, I think people always go back to a 6-0 finals, but that's when you got there. But they're not counting the years that you fell short. And so, look, I think it's hard to get to the mountaintop. It's hard to get back to the mountaintop after being there. And so for those guys who have gotten there and have achieved the winning while being there, the great ones, they want that feeling over and over and over again, but it's extremely difficult. And so for me in my conversations, I can't put words in LeBron's mouth, but for my conversations with him, it's been just enjoy the game. Enjoy the game. You have a lot less years to play than you've already played. I don't think he owes anybody anything. I don't think there's nothing else for him to accomplish. Mm-hmm. And I don't think he's in a space where he has to win every year. He's already home. And so just enjoy it, enjoy being in the locker room with those young guys, enjoy creating memories as a Los Angeles Laker, and, finish strong. However many more years he wants to play, it's totally up to him. As of today, he's definitely playing for the love of the game, and he still loves the game. He still wants to compete, and he gets up every day wanting to be better as a ball player. And so I'm just appreciative of that, as you can see in today's game, to have somebody at his age still love the game with having all the trinkets and all the money and all the success that he's had, and to still love the game. That's rare coming in. That's rare in year one. let alone you're 21.
Well, I'm gonna give props where props is due by saying this. I'm gonna tell you what the biggest rarity is. The biggest rarity is a guy to be 39 years of age in his 21st season in the NBA, looking and being as great as he has looked and continues to be. LeBron James is one of the top players on the planet right now in his 21st season, and credit deserves to be given to him in that regard. But with that in mind, I asked this question. Is he capable of just enjoying the young guys and having a good time without being in a position to win if the team fell off? They were in the Western Conference Finals last year, so we can't look at the Lakers and just dismiss that. But the way you sound at times, it's as if, listen, just go out there, play, have a good time because you've already done it all. And I'm like, yeah, that works if you're not as great as him. But when you are still as great as he still is, doesn't that bring a different momentum to the equation?
Yeah, I would say no. I would say, as a competitor, that's easier said than done. And coming from me, obviously that's easier said. But I'm always, a lot of times when you represent guys, you have to speak to them from a perspective of just having balance. And I think a lot of times there's so much pressure put on all these guys, especially someone like him who, despite whatever he does, it's going to always be an opinion from someone else.
Right.
And you can't go through life trying to prove yourself to those that's going to be opinionated for whatever reason, because you don't know where that opinion stems from, right? And you don't know what's behind that opinion. And so I try to help him just stay focused on, the task at hand and just enjoying the game at this point. I mean, look, he's in year 21, man. 21, he's still competing at a high level. I mean, if you wanted to, you can put him in any conversation there is to be put in. And so at that point, it's a team sport. If this was tennis or if this was golf and it was an individual sport, that's a little bit different. But, you can't control everything. It's just extremely difficult to do that. And at this state, with the rules and everything that's in place, and a lot of things has changed since he first entered the league. And I think he's overachieved. The expectation on him coming in was tremendous. There was a ton of doubt. There was people that definitely didn't want to see him succeed for whatever reason they had, or whatnot. And I think he overachieved. And so to come in as highly touted as he was, and as scrutinized as he was, and with all these people just waiting for him to fail, and to overachieve and to still be there now today, relevant, and to have teams seeking you out to play with their younger stars. I mean, look, it's a basketball fantasy, right? Playing with such great players. And when you mention a guy like Steph Curry, from a basketball perspective, I think people rise from the dead to want to play with Steph
Absolutely.
Curry, because he's one of the greatest players to ever, not shooters, he's one of the greatest players to ever touch a basketball.
Right.
And they were born in the same hospital, which is a fun fact. But the reality of it is, when you are a professional athlete and you have a commitment and you have a partnership and you've been treated with nothing but grace and respect, and from a partnerial perspective, it's important for you to honor that. It's important for you to be committed to that. And for a guy at the level of a LeBron James, the reason why I wanted to step out and say what I said, and you're right, I heard you today, I'm going to always do what's best for the client and what's asked of the client. But there's no reason for you to have representation if you're not going to necessarily value their advice.
That's where I was going.
You know what I'm saying? And so for me, I sit in a very interesting seat, right? Because the hardest part of my job is to sometimes you have to be the other voice, right? And it wasn't that in this case because it was shot down right away. But I've been in situations that, you may agree to disagree on things, but ultimately the perspective that I like to come from always gives a balance. And so, this stuff is fun though. I actually enjoy it, and to wake up and to hear all the news, and I knew it was coming, but it's just a testament to his hard work in this case. It's just a testament to his hard work.
Well, a couple of things. Number one, you alluded to Steph Curry and LeBron James being born in the same hospital. That's Summa Health Systems in Akron, Ohio. They were both born, Steph Curry and LeBron James were both born there. That's number one. Number two, I'm glad you brought up yourself, because my question to you, and I'm getting ready to get into a deeper discussion about you and Clutch Sports in just a second. I wanted to ask you, if LeBron James had even hesitated, what specifically, I know what your position is, but explain to our audience what you would have said in an effort to basically say to him, I don't know if this is the right thing for you to do. Think about leaving the Lakers to go to the Golden State Warriors. What would you have said to him?
Yeah, I would say, where's the win? Where's the win? If just taking the Warriors out, just any team at this point in your career, where's the win? Because if you go somewhere and you fall short, then I can count 50 losses.
Yeah.
So what's the value in that, right? Oftentimes, people get caught up into making impulsive decisions. And I have a lot of friends that's not here no more today because they made impulsive decisions. Right.
Same here.
And so I think oftentimes we spend a lot of time, again, trying to validate the opinions of people that aren't even validated themselves. And so for me, just staying in the moment, and again, understanding that the grass ain't always greener. We understand that. And he's already home. What else? If you go somewhere and you win another championship.
That's where I was going.
Okay. What in his life is going to change? There's still going to be barbershop conversations about who somebody think is the GOAT and why they think they're the GOAT and why they don't think he's the GOAT, and so on and so forth. There's still going to be conversations about why he belong on the Mount Rushmore of the Lakers or don't belong on the Mount Rushmore. There's going to be so many different conversations. You can slice it, or you can skin it, or you can twist the narrative however you want to twist it. I see a lot of guys on these podcasts, and it's too many podcasts, by the way. But I see a lot of guys.
70,000, Rich. 70,000 podcasts. 70,000.
Yeah, that's too many.
Yes.
And I see a lot of guys on these networks, and and look, part of it is their job, so I get it. But if you're having a real conversation, there's nothing else for LeBron James to do in the world of basketball. Nothing. You want to talk about
not catching Kobe, not catching MJ? Just asking.
Catching them at what?
Championships, number of titles. That's all. Number of titles. That's all. 5 and 6.
No, it's not, because just like again, you talked about it today. I think you guys talked about it. Somebody was talking about, maybe it's on another show I was watching, but they talked about Apple being worth 2.9 trillion and Microsoft being worth 3 trillion. There's if LeBron, Mike, and Kobe was in a room together, they all belong.
True.
They all belong. There's no room of basketball that LeBron's gonna get to that door
Rich Paul,
and be denied on the list.
That is the most, I've known you for years. That is the absolute most accurate thing you have ever stated. That LeBron, Kobe, MJ, they belong in the same room. I mean, this is the first time you've said something that I can't even debate. I don't even have a chance to debate you. That you're absolutely right. Let me get to you for a quick second, talking about you, because you've got an extensive client list. You've got Anthony Davis, you've got Tyrese Maxey, you got Draymond Green, who we'll get into in a couple of minutes or so before I let you get on out of here. But you've done a phenomenal job being the leader of Clutch Sports, the founder and the CEO. You've got NFL clients right now. As you sit back and reflect and remember, just thinking about all the things that you've accomplished in your career as an agent in this business, how do you sit right now? I'm talking about in yourself, thinking about you and what you've accomplished. By the way, you're a best-selling author, so let's not forget about that either, because you deserve a lot of credit for that. I would know something about that, by the way. But your thoughts about where you are right now?
Look, I'm in a great place. And honestly, Stephen, I think back on all this stuff, and I'm blessed, man. I really am. I come from a world in which, guys don't make it to this place. And when I say that, it's not based upon finance. Everybody bases things upon money, and I think that's been an issue around our league. People look at money as having success, and people look at money as being a decision maker, so on and so forth. And that's not the case for me. I think just continue to be a great example. I've achieved things despite for so many years, and I don't do it by myself. I look around and having the ability to affect people's lives by hiring them and positioning them. Staying late in the office the other night, talking to some of the young people in the office just about life and things like that. I'm extremely blessed, which is why when people look at me and they say, well, you don't seem to get rattled about anything if you were to no longer work with a top client, or if you didn't get this guy coming in the draft, and so on and so forth. And I say no, because at the end of the day, I built and we built a tremendous business. I've continued to grow my portfolio and things that I want to do and want to accomplish as an executive and a creator. I think there's enough room for everybody to be successful, and I think I think we're now in a place in which, for me, I've just always been about the respect, and I appreciate the guys that came before me, the Bill Stricklands, the Doc Tuckers, the Eugene Parkers, that people had it rough, and I came into a place where I hit it at a time where the business of basketball was booming, and I had a tremendous, 10 years hitting it, boom, 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 and then disrupting the industry where you're leading with education and not a checkbook, right? Because we know most people in my position, they're glorified ego strokers. Right. They have a master in ego stroking, and again, as an agent, you have to have some of that in you, but my positioning was that can't be the end all be all. And so I know when I'm having a conversation amongst parents or amongst talent, if they don't necessarily value the conversation I'm having, then I know our relationship is probably not going to work, because I'm coming at it from a totally different perspective. And I refuse to be put in a box. I won't be put in a box. I'm not just an agent. And at the end of the day, I'll continue to, just like you, me and you have side conversations about several things. Yeah. You learn your business from a different perspective now, and you have a different perspective on it. And you work to position yourself to where you can be a decision maker and you can do different things based upon what you've earned. I feel the same way. And so as I'm in sports today, and we just got into baseball, and we'll get into another sport, and people don't know, but we do sponsorships and we do a lot of consulting work for different brands. We built a really great company, and I have a great partner in UTA, which I'm on the board and co-head of sports there. And so all that's great. I never even thought I would be in that position, but I also never was complacent with any so-called win.
Is there a defining moment where you felt, this is what put me here? Is there one thing that you can point to over the course of your career, which is now illustrious, nobody can deny that you can definitively say, this moment right here was a defining moment for me in this realm?
Yeah, actually, on our group chat, well, one of many group chats I'm on, but one of our group chats, this question was just asked to me. Okay. And I named about 15 things, just not understanding. But yes, to answer your question, there were several, and this is for the young people out there listening. One of the first things I ever did was make a sacrifice, right? And you know it, when LeBron first went to Miami, I went, but I didn't go. I was focused on, I was recruiting Tristan back in that time. I was recruiting Johnny Flynn before that. But I was recruiting Tristan. I was recruiting Corey Joseph and Eric Bledsoe, right? And so what that showed was that I was serious and I was focused and I wasn't dependent of anybody, for that matter, right? And so because of that, that led to the next thing, me advising LeBron to go back to Cleveland. Well, he took me serious based upon me having a real knowledge and understanding of what was going on and why. And then that led to the next thing, which was, Eric Bledsoe's contract. And then that led to getting a guy like Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. And then that led to John Wall, who was a former number one pick, switching, which was a big deal. And then that led to, having Ben Simmons as the number one pick, and then getting Anthony Davis, and then, Darius Garland, who had a meniscus tear still going top 5. And then, it's just so many different things within that, again, a guy like Chris Livingston being drafted at 58 when there was a reporter a Kentucky reporter that said this kid would not get drafted in 4 drafts when he decided to leave because they were trying to discourage him to come back to school and for him to have guaranteed money and just get a head start in life. See, my thing is helping all these young men understand the importance of having a starting point of direction in life. Basketball comes second. Basketball is a vehicle, right? But it's not the end all be all. And so you're going to stop playing. But what have you learned? If you're talking on the phone to your guy and he's just telling you everything you want to hear, you hang up that phone. Shit, you could have been talking to anybody. You might as well, call the telethon, And so at the end of the day, I just come at it from a different perspective. Right. And you and I have several conversations. I know people see you on TV ranting and raving. Yes. That's going crazy at me, but that's part of it. But we also have important conversations well offline. And so today I'm in a great space, man. I'm just appreciative, Stephen A. I don't do this stuff alone. I've had a lot of help along the way. I've had a lot of people supporting me along the way, and I still have that. And I really feel like, when I succeed or when I do something well, it's us doing something well. When I talk about us, I'm talking about the young generation. I'm talking about the youth, because I'm an example of, despite what anybody say you can or can't do or any credentials you may lack, you can still be somebody and position yourself. And so I really, I hold that in a special place.
Well, I respect the hell out of you. I respect what you've accomplished, and I love our relationship and how we communicate, even when you're getting on my damn nerves because you're trying to control the rundown of my shows and all of that stuff. But before I let you get on out of here, man, I got to transition 2 more things. Number one, Draymond Green, another one of your clients, a 4-time champion. He's gone through a lot. We all know this. We were speaking about it. I was speaking about it earlier today. I'm speaking about it now because he called out Kevin Durant and Yusuf Nurkic, calling them cowardly. My position was I understood exactly where he was coming from, because when it came specifically to Kevin Durant, that's his former teammate. And as black men, when you hear, you need help, you hope they get the help that they need and stuff like that. Yeah, other people could say that. I could say that in my position. The media can say that. Even the team you play for can say that, because obviously you getting suspended sort of derailed them to some degree, and we see the impact that he has since he's been back. But for a former teammate to take that position, somebody that you once had beef with, but ultimately y'all resolved matters and what have you, I understood exactly where Draymond Green was coming from. That's my position, however. What is yours?
Yeah, look, I think at the end of the day, when men have a discrepancy, you try to let men work it out. That's the word I come from, right? But in my position as Draymond Green's representation, we have the conversations, but and I think, as you can see, since he's been back, I think he's had no technical fouls.
Yeah, one.
Okay, maybe one. Okay, that's fresh. Yep. So, but he and I talked about just being a champion of change, but I don't want to take away that spark of the reason. People don't understand one thing about Draymond. Draymond, if you look at just the numbers, they don't say 4-time champion, defensive player of the year, all-star. They don't say that coming out of Michigan State. You know what they said? They said overseas player. And that's no just disrespect to people playing overseas, but no one thought he would be able to play in the NBA at the level he's played at and achieve the things he achieved. The reason why he has been able to is because of that, what's inside of him, that fire that's inside of him. And obviously he's a very intelligent ball player. I know all these guys very well. I represent Yusuf Nurkic as well. Right. And Kevin Durant is a friend of mine. And the only thing I would love is if they did it,
privately,
offline. I'm not really an emoji, online Instagram type of person. That's not what I'm rolling with there. So, but again, it's competitive. It's part of the business. It's part of the game. And as long as they keep it about the game and don't take it to a personal side of things, then it is what it is. I can't tell a person how to feel. But also, I think that when two men have an issue, they should talk it out. And when I say talk it out, I really mean talk it out, because as you can see in our communities today, there's far less talking and far more doing behind things that probably isn't worth doing.
Absolutely.
So I think it's important for us people in the position that we are, to stress communication. I think communication is key.
Last question for you on a different note, man. It is Valentine's Day.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, I'm just wondering, is there anybody, I want to tell your business. I want to tell your business. I know everybody want to report the business. I want to tell your business. Is there somebody out there, a special Valentine, that you would like to wish a lovely and happy Valentine's Day to, sir? I mean, I'm just asking. I'm just asking.
Yeah, I would really love to wish my daughter a happy Valentine's Day.
Okay. All right.
She's an incredible young lady that I'm extremely proud of, and so I definitely want to wish her happy Valentine's Day.
What's her name again? What's your daughter's name?
Rihanna.
Okay.
My daughter's name is Rihanna.
Rihanna.
Yeah.
So you want to wish her?
Spelled different than Rihanna. She was born before Rihanna.
Okay. Is there anybody else that you want to wish a happy Valentine's Day to? I'm just checking. I'm just checking.
We're going to have a great Valentine's Day. Adele and I are going to have a great Valentine's Day.
All right.
Today. She's special to me, and she knows that, and so we're going to have a great Valentine's Day today. I'm looking forward to it.
Now, you know you can't be cheap, right? Because I know how frugal you can be. And you could be frugal.
No, listen,
you know that.
First of all, Stephen A., if anybody knows me, they know I'm not cheap.
Okay, frugal.
Okay. Well, yeah, I got to be frugal. I got to save for a rainy day.
I understand.
I got to be frugal.
Excuse me, you just said Rich Paul, founder and CEO of Clutch Sports, one of the top agencies. Now, not only you represent NBA and NFL players, but you're going to be getting in the baseball as well.
I'm in baseball,
so we know how much money's in baseball. And then on top of it all, the wonderful, wonderful Adele herself, you just mentioned, I didn't mention her, you mentioned her. I mean, I don't think we associate rainy days when it comes to her. I mean, you're going to be all right.
She said, well, the difference is she set fire to the rain, but I know what it's like to sit in it, you know. And so for me, I just always come from a place of balance, man. You know, for real. But I'm not. I have taste and I have class, and I don't do anything.
I'm just talking about tonight. I mean, don't be frugal. It's 365 days in a year. One day you could come out of pocket and just splurge.
Well, when you date a guy like me, every day is Valentine's Day, Steve.
Yeah, that's a slick. I knew that. I knew you were going to say that. Appreciate you, Rich Paul, man. Thanks a lot, man. Happy Valentine's Day to the wonderful, marvelous Adele. She's off the chain. I'm a huge fan. Wish her nothing but the best. Thank you for coming on the show today, taking time out of your busy schedule, bro. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, man. Thanks for having me. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
All right, man. Take care. The one and only Rich Paul, agent extraordinaire, founder and CEO for Clutch Sports, the agent for LeBron James himself and Draymond Green, right here on the Stephen A. Smith Show. Got lots more to get into right here on the Stephen A. Smith Show as we continue, because Valentine's Day is here. There's a bunch of things to get into, and we most certainly will. So stick around. You're watching the Stephen A. Smith Show right here over the digital airwaves of YouTube. Back with more, much more, in a minute.